the fight, the broken, the unspoken. We can't heal if the wound is open. It feels like no one cares to see your heart is bleeding. Your cry is ignored when you are ill. When the wrong, the pain and lies are kept a secret, to gain for their own benefit. Be strong, be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stay tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, when will we stop being the inferior? Our vulnerable children stripped of their innocence. It feels like no one cares to see your heart is bleeding. Your cry is ignored when you are ill. When the wrong, the pain and lies are kept a secret, to gain for their own benefit. Be strong, be brave. You're too far away from the grave. Stay tall. We are here. We don't know the spirit of fear. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. We will overcome. Yes, we will overcome. We will overcome. Yes, we will. Liberia, we can't give up when they have turned their backs on us. Liberia, we can't give up. Liberia, we can't give up when they have turned their backs on us. Young girls, don't cry. You're not alone in the fight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men and women. Welcome to Attorney Commander Galpohkpa Chesson Talk Show. We begin the weekend today, November 22nd, November 27th, 2021, with news of healthcare staffing shortage in Rhode Island. We also hear that there's cash for vaccine in Rhode Island. And the unions are stepping up to the plate to benefit from this interest. I look behind me, I see my old stomping ground, the jail. Oh Lord. Well, I just put this picture here because in Liberia they were talking about um, problem in Liberia with the government and food, money for prisoners, food being diverted to other places. I'm sorry for all the green on my screen all around me. I've been trying to do this and fix it up. I just got this. I just got this webcam other than my camera, so it's still not. I still haven't gotten all the green out yet. You can see the green around my arm and all of that. But bear with me. I did not have to do it till yesterday. I was too tired after my show. I just passed out. So today, let's look at my show. My first topic for today is Vice President Joseph Boakai to blame for former President Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf failure? Two, who are Liberia's youth and what are their responsibilities? And three, the Patriot. All this green around me is bothering me, but anyway, gosh. I had to go a little greener because with the green screen, it shows through my green. So the thicker the green, the better it is. But I see it all in my hair, all around my arm. I will get rid of it. It takes some playing around with. So please bear with me. Hang with the green for today. This is military. Let's ride on. Okay? Okay, now. Is Joseph Boakai to be blamed for Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's failures? When I listen to all the podcasts and podcasters, they talk about Joseph Boakai and how he referred to Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's era as them wasting a lot or not really utilizing in full the resources and benefits and opportunities that were allotted to the Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's administration. So because Joe Boakai said that, many Liberians now are now pointing to him as part and parcel of the problem of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's regime. And despite the fact that Joe Boakai may have his own issues and problems, we know that when we look at Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's regime, when we look at the nepotism in Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's regime, we know that Joe Boakai didn't stand a chance. I can tell you that with all the kings, with the Sirleafs, with my sister Chesson, with all the other Congo people coming to ride Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, Joseph Boakai didn't stand a chance. Ellen had her 3 sons in our government. Her sister running our government. What can Joe Boakai say? What would Joe Boakai say to Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf when she has her whole family running our government? Joe Boakai was just a little native boy in there sitting down, filling his space and doing what Ellen told him to do. And Joe Boakai wasn't happy either. Because I know that Joe Boakai knew that there was nepotism. I know Joe Boakai knew that Ellen was involved in killing people in 1980 because of nepotism. And yet her government filled up with her own children, those useless, rat, bat, faggot-less children of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. She got those bastards in our government, messing it up and stealing. What do you expect Joe Boakai to do? Huh? Knock heads with those idiots. He couldn't do that. So when people point to Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf administration and use Boakai's statement that they wasted a lot, in those terms, the way he meant, they could have done more, but they missed opportunities. So we know that Boakai had no real say in that administration. That administration was for the Sirleafs and the Johnsons. So there were nobody can point to Joe Boakai and say, "Oh, Joe Boakai didn't do nothing on Ellen Johnson." What Joe Boakai could do? That whole Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf administration was run by the Kings, by the Sirleafs, by the Johnsons, by my sister VP Chesson. So what the hell Joseph Boakai could do among those people? Huh? All these people coming to Liberia, Ellen and her family. I mean, I went to Liberia one year. I went there when Ellen was president. I went there in 2005. No, it was recently, before she left, during her second term, maybe 2010 or 11 or something. I went to Liberia. I saw that country. The first thing is I walked to the place where Ellen was, the mansion. I saw King, Abu King, or one of the kings there, coming down there, running the security. As soon as he got there, everybody stood up. I said, "Oh, these are the kings running this government." Charlie King family, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, the Johnsons. My sister Yvette is a Johnson too. So the Johnsons, all of them were ruling the mansion. What would Joe Boakai do? What Joe Boakai had to say in that nepotistic mess? I saw it. So if you want to blame Boakai for not working, blame Boakai. But don't put him with Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Boakai was a hostage under Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. He was a hostage. So all that VP thing, it didn't matter. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf ruled Liberia with her family. So Joe Boakai had no say in there. Joe Boakai just was a go for this, go for that, go do this, go do that. That's all Joe Boakai did for 12 years. And that's why, even to today, Ellen never wanted Joe Boakai, but she had to have him because she couldn't rule that government by herself. She needed this indigenous man behind her to deceive our indigenous people. And it worked. Because the whole while Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf was president of Liberia, she didn't do a damn thing for our indigenous women. She did it for the Congo women. She did it for the educated women. Both Congo and country, they did it for the educated women. But she didn't do it for our indigenous women of country. She didn't do it for the women that she came to free. Now she's sitting there talking about she won't give another woman a chance, her relatives. I mean, this nepotism thing has to stop. This nepotism, all of us, Liberia is a small country. So all of us somehow innately related or close. But that does not give you the right to put your family in our government. Does not give you the right to put your immediate children, your little bastard, useless faggot children in our government. And we cannot put Joe Boakai on par with Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf corruption and nepotism and stealing and mess she did in Liberia. Now, I will not tolerate that either. I don't care about Joe Boakai Cummings. I'm not a politician, I'm a soldier. I don't care who wins. I don't care. In fact, I don't even think we need a president right now because our country is so corrupt. It's so dysfunctional. It's so full of inept men and women. We need to read our people in and give them discipline. People need to be disciplined. People need to be put in jail. And this is what I bring to the leadership of Liberia. Strictly of my country. Let anybody stand before me and say Rodney Chesson is a damn joker. And you'll see if I'm a damn joker. Come and ask the people at the ACI, Adult Correctional Institution in Rhode Island, if I'm a joker. And they will tell you, Chesson, you're no damn joker. You don't joke with Chesson. I will lock your ass up in a heartbeat. And this is the discipline I'm bringing to my country. Because my people are indisciplined. My people are backwards. My people are untrained. And there are too many bullshitters in my damn country. And I will bring the sword of Jericho and change everything in Liberia. I will change our lifestyles. I will change our way of living. I will change our economic situation. I will change our political dynamics. I will change every damn thing in Liberia. Because I'm not a politician. I'm not a man to mess with. And I'm a soldier. I am a soldier. Liberia will run straight for 5 years. That's all I want to straighten up my country. 5 years. I will straighten up Liberia so bad we'll never have a problem with corruption again for the next 20, 30 years. With people stealing from our government, we'll not have a problem. Well, as I see my country right now, we're in deep trouble. And blaming Joe Boakai for some of the mess with Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is unfair. It's unfair. Joseph Boakai may have slept half of his life, but to blame him for Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and her nepotistic mess is unreal. And I will support Boakai on that. Now, as the fact as I hear people talking about Boakai and Cummings, you have to realize that when you're working in the private sector, it is quite different than working in government. For those of you who have worked in the private sector, you know you got to do what you got to do. You must do what you got to do. You are being hired by private people to fulfill their private duties and obligations, and you better do it or you're going to get fired. Whereas when you're working for the government, it's a public institution. It's owned by the people. So some people go there thinking that they're more entitled than other people. Some people go there thinking that their tribe give them more rights than other people. So when you're working for government, it is quite different from working from private sector. In the private sector, people care because of people's private money they're putting into it. They care. In the public sector, there is less care because it's for the government. Nobody really owns it. The only time public people care for government property is when the leadership cares. When the leadership enforces regulations and ordinances that make people care, the people will care. But if the leadership is like a desiccant, like George Weah, if the leadership steals, then the Liberian legislator looters. If the leadership is dysfunctional, like all the people in Liberia today, what do you expect? You expect miracles? You expect good governance? You expect good leadership? You must be dreaming. So there's a difference between private sector and public sector. And when Ella Cummings was in the private sector, you can't compare him or his performances to the public sector. Neither can you compare Joseph Boakai's performances in the public sector to the private sector. They're two different sectors, two different, depending on the owners of the entity. One is owned by people, private family, individuals. One is owned by public, by the people of Liberia. So one, you have more interest to generate funds and money, and the other, people fight for power, position, wealth. So there are two different types of leadership, and we can't compare them because what Ella Cummings did in the private sector, he may not be able to do in the public sector. He may not even be successful because in the private sector, he worked for Firestone. He was a head. Anything he told the workers to do, they had to do it. Nobody could challenge him. You could get fired. Yes, you might go and sue and try to get your job back, but that's a private company. It was different from government. In the government, everybody feels they have an entitlement. That's why it's harder to terminate people employment in government. In this country, they're just doing the poor people that are to fire us like dogs, and we can't say shit because we're in a foreign country. But they're not supposed to fire you, Ella. So public sector job is different from private sector. Public sector, public sector government job, people hardly get fired. Look at Liberia. Look at all the presidents that been stealing, all the government officials stealing. We don't fire them. Some of them stay there and said we'll kill them with a coup d'etat. But this is what happens. So there is less efficiency in public sector than in private sector. So that's just to bring the focus to this whole point between Cummings working for Coca-Cola and Boakai working for the government. Both of them, if they change their roles, both of them might fail. Because there are two different kinds of government. The thing Cummings could do in Coca-Cola and not be challenged, he can't do it in government and not be challenged. You understand? So there's more authority in a private company. There's more leeway in a private company for you to achieve and succeed in what you want to do, in what the leadership wants to do, the goals of the leadership of the entity. Whereas in the in the public sector, it depends on the leadership. How strong is leadership? How influential is the leadership? How united are the people in the leadership? So all of this has to do with the actual participation in government, in governance. That's when you know that private sector is different from government sector. Private sector is more money making, is more efficient, is more productive than government. Why? Because government, the owner of government is the people. And the people interest is in the hands of those that are elected. And if they are not cognizant of the need to raise the consciousness of their people, to lead the country into a different era, to build a nation, that nation will never be built. Whereas in the private sector, if I put in my money in things and I want this and this and this to occur, if it doesn't occur, I can fire you. I don't have to ask you no question. I fire you. You're not doing your job. I fire you. I put somebody else to give me my money back. Because I'm putting my money, I want my money back. It's different from government. So we can't compare Boakai with Cummings on that line. You can take Cummings and put him in Boakai's job, he will fail miserably. You can take Boakai and put him in private sector job, they will fire him on the spot. because he lazy. He sleeps a lot. He's not as efficient and effective in private company as in government. They think Boakai do in government, he can't do it in private sector. Some of the things Ella Cummings did in private sector, he can't do it in government because he will meet a lot of opposition. So that's the difference. And it can never work the same. Even right here in my house, I work for government in Rhode Island. I know government different. My wife works worked for Brown University. Her thinking is totally different from mine. And some of the things she hangs on to, I tell her, you go to private sector, it can't work. It can't work because the leeway you had in Brown University with the authority of the school and all of that, you were fulfilling the mission of the owners of the school. You could fire anybody that didn't perform up to that level to succeed. Whereas in government, you can't just fire people like that. No, whether they're succeeding or not, you can't. You got to go through processes, and still you may not be able to fire them. Still, you may not be able to fire them because this is government. It functions different from the private sector. So we can't blame Joe Boakai for Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's problem. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf was nepotistic. Her whole regime was ruled by the Sirleafs, by the Kings, by the Johnsons, and by the people she wanted to give money to. She didn't give Joe Boakai the support he needed as vice president. Joe Boakai was just a stooge to keep her in power because he represented the indigenous people. And she needed a face in the government of indigenous people to keep her nepotistic shit going. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is a criminal and she needs to go to jail. And if I ever catch that woman, I will prosecute her and her children to the ends of the law of Liberia and put all of them in jail for life. Because what she did in our country was wicked. They killed our fathers for nepotism. They killed our fathers for corruption. You cannot take your children and put your children in government. And the Liberian people, I don't know what kind of spell this woman has or has over the Liberian people still. My people are idiots and stupid. And you will bear the curse for the wickedness of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. If we keep silent and let Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf continue to live in Liberia, we will suffer because she has committed the greatest sin any leader can commit. You kill our fathers, then you take your children and put them in power for the same reason you kill our fathers for. Liberian people, we got a curse over our head. We got a big curse, and this curse emanates from Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's betrayal of the Liberian people. Until we remove Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf from Liberian society, until Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf dies, Liberia will never rise. Because Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is a dark cloud over Liberian society. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is evil over Liberian society. And Joseph Boakai was a hostage of that regime. And for him to sit down here and say he's the leader of UP and all of that, I mean, Liberian people we have no dignity and pride anyway. So, I would never be leader of UP. I would change that name. For that, if I come from under that nepotistic Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, I would change that name. I would not be under that same unity party. That party is cursed because Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is cursed. I'll take a break and come back for my next topic. But people will pay. Liberia, people will pay spiritually. You cannot kill my pa and put your children in our government. And Liberian people accept it as right. Liberian people danced in 1980. They called my father rogues. They said my father was rogue They say the native people were stronger than my pa, and my pa then were rogue. Then you take your children and put them in our government after killing my father and our people, and you think Liberia will not suffer a spiritual death because of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf until and unless Liberian people rise up against Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, put her in jail, or make sure she exists no more. Liberia is cursed. This woman cannot kill our fathers, cannot be one of the elements against the 1980 government, and she come and put her children in power over the Liberian people, and the Liberian people accept it and honor her. There's a problem in my country. There's a spiritual and a physical problem in my country, and we need to attend to it before we move forward, or we not move forward in the right way. I take a break. I'll be right back for my second topic. Liberia's greatest problem is deception. Liberians' greatest problems are our leaders are deceivers and liars. And this must stop. This must stop. This went on from 1822 until 1980 because we were divided. Because one group dominated for over a century. All of that is behind us now. We executed our people. We're supposed to have turned over a new leaf. But apparently, we didn't. Apparently, we still got deceitful elements of wicked people like among us, like Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, Amos Sawyer, and Wedegani, Famule. All these people got to go. George Bowley, we got to jail every one of these people and flog them. We got to flog these people so badly that we cleanse our country of evil and wickedness and these deceitful criminals. All these people are criminals. Ellen Johnson, Amos Sawyer, Famule, all these people they are criminals. They are damn well criminals. And when we catch them, we flog them to death and put them in jail forever. If you ain't died by the time we come home, we'll put you in jail and all of you will die in jail because that is where you deserve to die, in jail, for what you did to our country. Now look at our youth. In Liberia, youth are from 15 to 35. What kind of 35-year-old man is a youth? Can you imagine that? A fucking old, crusty, useless man, a youth. That's why our country can't grow. You got all these useless people running around, want love the young little girls and talking about the youth. All these useless men with craft coming off their faces, talking about the youth. You gotta be joking. You gotta be joking. 35-year-old man, youth. And we ain't got no shame to talk about it. And if sports, youth and sports minister talking about when they're having something abroad and they talk about youth, we send 35-year-old man. You send 35-year-old man to a 15-year-old youth convention? This is what is so disgusting in Liberia. All these old rusty ass men talk about their youth. Youth, 35-year-old man, fucking youth. Can you imagine it? And they're proud of that too. These people are proud to say the 35-year-old and the youth. 35-year-old in 5th grade, 6th grade. That damn useless legislature Liberia got of thieves and killers and murderers. That legislature is a disgrace. That legislature is full of murderers. They need to be tried and executed. All these people here just owe our country with their nonsense and nonsensical bullshit. They gotta change. They gotta change. We're gonna tell the 5-year-old man will be youth talking about they lost 10 years in the Civil War. The international age for youth is 15 to 24 or 25. Then I remember people talking about because of the Civil War, people lost their childhood, so we add 10 more years there to give a 35-year-old man youth status. Are you damn crazy? That's why Liberia, you got these rusted, crusted men in classes with 15, 16-year-old children talking about the youth. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Let me catch you 35-year-old man messing around young children talking about you young. I will kick you in the nuts and I will jail your asses for the rest of your damn lives. You useless people. Huh? All this kind of dysfunctional living. You can bring it to us talking about youth. Youth, 35-year-old man youth, useless people, dumb ass people, Zoko, youth. You stand before me, a 35-year-old man talking about you youth, I will. Oh man, I'm coming home with my army boots. I want my army boots because I want to kick people in the gonads, in the nuts for talking foolishness. 35-year-old man youth. We better do something about our country. All this dysfunctional thing in our country got to stop. It got to cease and desist because we deserve better. Our society deserves better. Our young children deserve to be children, not mixed with old rusted, caustic old men. Our children deserve to be children. And we need to put everything in the right perspective. We cannot have 30 years old men talking about the youth because our legislature full of dumb, useless criminals calling themselves lawmakers. We got to do away with these people. These people are dysfunctional. These people are not the right leaders for the Republic of Liberia. Something got to be done. Let me take a break. And I come on with my final topic, the Patriot. So we can end this nightmare of old rusted, crusted, useless men talking about the children. What kind of responsibilities you we have? You 35-year-old man, you're youth. The young people are like people, the minister talking about they got conferences for youth. People sending 15-year-old, 20-year-old children. You send a little rustic, crusted, old 35-year-old man. And these are people really want to go to lead youth. These old rustic, crusted 35-year-old men thinking that they're youth. What kind of youth are these people? I mean, it's just disgusting, man. Disgusting. We got to overhaul our country. We got to overhaul Liberia. Everything in Liberia is screwed up. Everything. We got to overhaul it. We got to put our government back in power. We need the military to discipline our people and train our society. Because our whole society is indisciplined. Look at the little young children. You go to the schools, the children talking, you can't even hear. You tell them, keep quiet, they can't keep quiet. Yeah. What? 4 or 5 year old children. They come in the place. Look at all the programs they have. Look at the Liberian children. They're coming in the noise. Oh, yeah. Everybody talking. Nobody taking control of them. That shit will not happen on my watch. Anywhere you see Liberian children, you will hear tired, 100% silence. You will not hear a pin drop out of their mouths. They will be so damn disciplined in everything they want to do because it will be a new era for Liberia and Liberian people. But as my country is today, we too rude, we too indisciplined, we too lawless, and this shit cannot fly on the Lieutenant Commander Galpohkpa Chesson. It will not fly. It will not. Because under my watch, shit will be in order. Under my watch, shit will be according to our constitution and laws, and there will be discipline in my society. All the shenanigans you're doing, you better enjoy it now. Because when the Liberian people say, come Chesson, come take this shit. When I take that shit, shit will change in Liberia. Overnight, everything will change. Overnight, everything will change. There will be law and order. There will be discipline. And above all, the young children will only talk when they are spoken to. People will be disciplined. From the babies to the 35-year-old damn youth. They will know what their duties and responsibilities are as Liberian citizens. Because all of us got duties and responsibilities. Every one of us as Liberian citizens got duties and responsibilities to our country and our people. But we never know it because we are indisciplined. Because the war has taken away from us the sense of order. That's why we got so useless people in our legislature. We got dummies and criminals ruling us, our country. Talking about the statesman, Prince Johnson, that useless dog, talking about he's a statesman. What made that damn useless Prince Johnson statesman? Huh? Let me come put your ass in jail and fuck the shit out of him. This shit gotta stop. It gotta stop. We have a nation and a nation to run. They travel shit. He's saving our tribe and all that shit. This shit gotta stop. 1980 is over. All the war over. We gotta discipline our society. I want men and women in the military that I will train to be warriors. And they will not care with nobody else but Liberia. You know could go, you could go. Let me take a break. I'll be back to finalize my topic for today. Because our country is messed up. Our country is messed up. And we got to change Liberia. We've got to change our country by any means necessary. But we got to change our country. We can't wait for the white people to do it. They ain't doing it. Look at Liberia. What kind of nation in the world you will see white people giving you billions of dollars with warlords and war criminals and rogues still ruling the country? These people mean to keep us down. They mean to keep our country the underdog by keeping these useless criminals and Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and her people in power. Rise up. Rise up. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf must be removed from Liberian society now. We cannot grow. We cannot prosper. We cannot live with Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf alive. She got to go. Let me take a break. I'll be right back. For the past 40 years, we've lived in a state of nightmarish bullshit. We live in a state of deception and lies, nepotism and evil. And it can't go on. For the 12 years that Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf ruled this nation, she ruled us. First, she started good, but then she found out that she couldn't control Liberian men. And many of the people she brought with her were here for their own self and not for the Liberian people. So she got rid of all of them and put all her children in power, which was even worse. Brought our nation down to bullshit. And Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf got to pay for it. She got to pay. There is no way we can let Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf off the hook. We can't let her off the hook. She destroyed our country. She betrayed the revolution. She betrayed the Liberian people's revolution by putting her children into power, by putting her family over the Liberian people. She betrayed the Liberian people. Our revolution, the killing of the 13 people, will remain on our hands forever because of Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. We cannot kill people for nepotism and put our children in power. That's nepotism. We cannot kill our people for a crime and commit worse crime than we kill them for. And that's what Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf did to Liberia. And our country and people are cursed because of that. And Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf must be punished. She must be punished without mercy, without remorse. She must be punished. And so too must her children be punished. They must be punished. They must be put in jail right now. They must be stripped of everything they own in Liberia. Everything they have must be confiscated for the Liberian people. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf might have nothing. We're going to South Africa and we're going to take every damn thing she owns in South Africa. It belongs to the Liberian people. We're coming after you, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. And everything and everyone around you, we're coming for you. You'll give us our shit back. Liberian patriots, rise. Liberia's patriots, rise. For 40 years, we have lingered in darkness because of people who are evil and wicked and want to steal from us. 40 years, our country has suffered on bullshit for nothing. We need our 40 years back. We need our country back. And we must punish Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf for what she did by putting her children over our government for no other reason, just for that. That alone, we will punish Ellen Johnson for putting her children over our government and people. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf must be punished. She must, everything she owns in Liberia must be confiscated from her, from the Liberian people. Every one of her children must go to jail and their properties must be confiscated for the Liberian people. These wicked people who have brought our country down to what it is this day must pay. They must pay. Jesus Christ wants us to punish these people. These people cannot die. No, we must punish them. Jesus Christ has given us the power to punish Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and her children. And we must do it with all mercy, with all remorse, with all sympathy. We must punish that woman and her children. And Jesus Christ will restore what he has taken from us back to us more than ever before. More than ever before. But we must punish Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. We must punish her children. We must punish the kings. We must punish the Johnsons. We must punish all these people that have brought our family and our country down to what it is today. Punish Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf now. The time of the people is here. Rise up, the armed forces of Liberia. Rise up! Rise up! The time of the Liberian people is now. Aluta! Continua. Have a good day.